Exalted patron of this episode is Graffitiski. Thank you very much for all the support and making this community great. Hello everyone, Venrus here.
And I am the Loose Noose Moose Goose.
And this is I Don't Know podcast because we don't know a lot of stuff, but like to talk about them. And short topic today, really. We are not talking about the stuff that we were doing recently because we are recording this right after our very overhyped cafe podcast. We were never so happy on the podcast, I think, talking about the stuff.
Oh, we're going to counterbalance it because today is a fun, happy day of complaining, which we are really good at.
This is going to be a complain podcast because we like to complain. Overall, in my normal life, I'm known that I like to complain a lot, but it's not that I'm complaining. It doesn't mean that I don't like a thing. I just like to complain. It's like a water and breathing for me.
I like complaining because it sparks conversation on how to make things better. Usually, if it's productive.
Yeah. I saw a very good meme recently that what complaining gave us for Warhammer 2, and it was total rework of unit cards and new look for Knights of More, for example.
And a small thing. You may have heard of the Beastmen.
No. This is a small complaint that we had.
Well, anyway,
only 5 years.
God, you get PTSD flashbacks. Anyway, speaking of the chaotic beastmen, that would probably be most of the topic for today. Is the chaos in Game 3 and why we are sad.
The selling point of the game, Chaos Gods. One of the gods was shown on the trailer and screenshots of the cafe. It was Zinch, and in the community, it began a very loud discussion that Chaos in Game 3 looks very bad.
And we're talking about a purely like a visual thing, just at a glance.
Right now, but we will go to the more important thing that people are missing with this reskins, because what we are talking about on the trailer, we can see Forsaken units that are just blue. They don't have anything changed to them visually besides color. We have Chaos Spawn that are also blue, purple, just have different colors. And we see Chaos Warriors of Zinch, chosen one especially, and they are using same animation and same assets as Warhammer I, chosen just with a different color. And it rose very big discussion, as I said, that Chaos is a reskin.
And that is crazy disappointing and bad if you've been teasing your community for close to 10 years with Chaos is coming in Game 3, and they get here and it's just your Uncle Archeon from like 10 years ago, and this time he's just got a couple of buckets of paint.
And
that's not what I'm waiting on, guys.
And using a mod by Oki that his face is upside down.
Have you seen his new one with Handsome Grimgore?
Yeah, it's so exciting. Okay, if you're hearing us, big kudos for those mods. They are fantastic. Getting to the reskin thing, yes, as you said, only buckets of paint. And the thing, this issue was first seen in the Korn trailers and Korn advertisement, that they were the same thing, the same animations, and the Korn Warriors only had different heads, and everything was just texture change for his Chaos Warriors. They were not even looking the same as those that were in the trailers, so different bulky armor, etc. No, those were chosen armor, just repainted with new helmets. And whoa, I was not expecting that with Zinch, especially how different he is in lore. And the fact that CA said that Chaos factions, why they are doing 4 different factions, because they said that those will be as different as you're comparing, let's say, Empire to Vampire Coast or to High Elves.
And so far, they're not following through. Like, I am nervous. I really am about the future for Chaos. Now, one could argue, and we talked about this in the last podcast, that things are just not done. There's a reason the game is getting a delay. They might be placeholders for the trailer. Who knows? Maybe it'll age poorly, and suddenly Zinch will come out here and his units, and you'll be able to watch them mutate on the battlefield. I don't think that's going to happen, but what we're looking at so far is just come on, especially like you said, especially with Zeech, his whole thing is constantly change, bright and vivid colors, just being very, very odd. I expected so much more out of Zeechian Chaos Spawn, especially.
Yeah, I expected, especially for the Chaos Warriors and the Chaos Spawn, to have more bird theme stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking on, because officially there are no tabletop for, let's say, Zinch Warriors, Slaanesh Warriors, Corn Warriors, things like that. But I was expecting more things like, let's say, less bulky armors, more cloaks with feathers, like a staff. They should be looking like elite cultists for me. That's how I'm imagining Zinj.
Yeah, and we're just not getting that at all. And it makes me think, like, excuse me, Chaos has a pretty wide roster of units, but I think it might have been overly ambitious to spread that across effectively 5 different factions. Since Archeon and
If we are
Sigvald and all that are
getting
all the same thing.
the Chaos Undivided, yeah.
Well, well, we
Oh,
have
you're talking
Chaos
about
on.
Norska.
I'm talking about the 4 Chaos Gods, Chaos Undivided that we got in Game 1. I guess Norska, and I don't know if they show up with something like Bellicor or something in Game 3. I don't think they have enough unit diversity to cover each one of those and meet the claim they gave us of they'll be
Hmm.
as diverse as like 2 different factions or whatever.
Okay, okay. Let's talk about the unit diversity in a minute. Let's finish with the look, because unit diversity is another topic that we have in this episode. But getting back to the look, uh, what do you think about especially those Chaos Warriors? How they are looking
Well,
right now? That they're using the assets and just a different color for Warhammer 1.
I, it's I'm not a modeler, first off, but I can't imagine that it would be too difficult to take the undivided, unaligned Chaos Warriors from one and just zinch them up or corn them up, and not just like here's some blue paint, go crazy. Like I don't know, have wiggling tentacles coming out of one of their backs or something like this, or like half a malformed wing or something like that. Just anything that's not just the same dude.
Mhm.
I, I
Even I said even cloaks like with feathers, that things like that.
cloaks with feathers.
No helmets,
I
but hoods. Let's say if you're looking like cultists, things like that. Those would be fixing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like for example, I think each chaos god has an affiliated number. Give us helmets with different numbers of those eye holes. Just small things that would go a really long way towards like that's definitely a Zichi Chaos Warrior. I can basically see his beak behind that full plate helmet he's got on.
Yeah, yeah. It's also I think that they should not be so much heavily armored for Zinj because it doesn't fit the heavy armor Arcorn thing.
Mm.
And especially everything is very heartbreaking uh, when you look on cafe that we were talking about. Like every shown unit have different models. It's not like Empire state troops that using the same model for artillery, state troops, handgunners, crossbowmen, etc., etc., etc.
Uh huh.
You have different models for every different unit for the cafe, and they are not doing any of that for the chaos that we saw. I was
And
thinking that just let me finish. When they showed Corn, I was thinking that Corn will be using most assets from Warhammer One, and the rest of the gods will just have new, unique models. And I was like, okay, this is not that bad if they are not making Chaos Undivided, but it looks we don't have it right now. They are reusing the same stuff.
I think it's very interesting to even to talk about just that aspect of it because Corn, um, his stuff looking different. is obviously red brass, but a lot of Khorne is in their personality as opposed to their appearance. Just like crazy as hell super warriors. But when you get to like Nurgle and Tzeentch, you expect these wild, like grotesque, just very, very strange and different than just like angry guys. This guy's got two axes instead of one. Oh, that's a corn guy. But we, like you said, we didn't get that at all. I will say, when it comes to stuff like the chaos, like the actual demons of chaos, those look pretty damn good. Like Kairos looks pretty good. The
Kairos
little
looks and sounds great.
and like, but when it comes to like pre-existing pre-existing units, they should do something more than just like give them a coat of paint. That's not.
Yeah, yeah.
You can get away with
Also,
that with like some other factions. Like, I don't know, if you're different parts of the empire, you'd have different colors for your stripes and your straight troopers.
yeah, with different legendary lords, things like that. Elector count units.
Hmm.
They were quite lazy on the release also, so very, very lazy,
But when
especially
you
how
but when you
diverse.
show off just what you when you show off your full fucking potential like they did with Cathay and how great that all looks, I was like, all right, keep going, keep doing that.
Yeah, yeah, but we were also expecting the same with Korn when they showed Kislev, because Kislev has very unique models. They're very overtuned, we know about it, too many beers, etc. But they were expecting the same with the Korn, and when they showed that with the Korn trailer, it was,
Not.
where is the rest? Where is Korn here? And of course, we didn't show a proper Zinch trailer. It will be released later in next month or maybe this month. We shall see. But from what we saw right now, it's it's very not good looking, and I don't think those are placeholders. Because why show such stuff in such amazing cafe trailer?
One could argue someone in the office said, "Look at how good we did with Cathay. We've got to show them off." But Hank, we didn't finish Zinch. And just color them blue and throw them out there. You could, I mean, maybe. I doubt it. I'm hopeful, but I doubt it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that would be wrapping the reskin thing, and we are going to move to thing that makes me concerned the most is the shared units right now.
Mhm.
Because from the trailer, we can see units that are already in Corn roster, and those units are Forsaken, Chaos Spawn, Big Chaos Spawn, Furies, Warriors, Chosen, and Sound Grailer on one of the screenshots, and also was mentioned. So you have 7 units that probably gonna be just reskin and in 4 different factions. This is half of the roster.
Yeah, and I kind of, I'll say to a degree, I expected a little bit of that because as much diversity as there is amongst chaos, for the nature of it just being chaos, you, I mean, we already got most of what we were getting for like warriors out of Archeon's faction.
Yeah,
Like the foot soldiers of chaos are all out there already in the pre-existing faction, and they're not gonna just oh, these are chaos warriors, blah 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 of such and such, and we're definitely not going to have entirely demon armies either. That would be worse than Kislev's having bear on everything. But so it was going to happen, but just like so far, 7 confirmed. That's a lot of a roster.
yeah. And Chaos Warriors and Chosen have variation also, so it's even more than 7 units.
That's true. Well, like for let's just knock it out real quickly. Like there's only so many demons per chaos god, and then there's the greater demon. It's like bloodletters, juggernauts, bloodthirsters, um, and I think there's one more Cornite demon I'm forgetting. But that's only like 4 or 5
Yeah,
more units that add any sort of change to your supposedly very very unique Chaos God factions when they're all supposed to be very wildly different from each other. That's clearly not the case. How could it be unless they start making shit up?
Eh, yeah, but you know what? My problem is that with the warriors, it's not that they are shared because this is not a problem. This should be warriors chosen in each of those, but
Mm,
they, beside the color, looks entirely having the same roles. This is my problem. Like the Zinch ones should be less armored, have more magical attacks, things like that. And I'm afraid that those 7 units that we just talk about will have only very small stats changes between them, to the
hmm
point that in the grand scheme of things on campaign, you won't be feeling that you are playing a different faction.
That's kind of what I was thinking. It's like the first fights for like the first 20, 30 turns of the campaign are probably going to feel very, very samey unless the faction effects is where they really dig in to how they differentiate their units from each other. Like, let's play you're playing as Corrin's faction, and one of the faction effects is like being able to give marks of Corrin to your Chaos Warriors, so they function entirely differently. Or maybe the model changes once you give them a Chaos, like a mark of Corrin or something like that. I don't know. There are things they can do, but you could say that for a lot of the stuff they have done and haven't done yet. So
Yeah.
I'm nervous, man.
Yeah, yeah, you can see and hear us that we really have a problem with it. This is especially how good Cafe looks on this
So,
trailer.
so
Why do that and show a, unit on the discs of Zinch, very iconic unit for the Zinch also, using Chaos Sorcerer's model that is the same as was in Warhammer 1, and I would be okay with it if I'm not if I would not be concerned that this Chaos Sorcerer model would be also used on Slanesh and Nurgle right now.
hmm
Because if
except
he
green.
won't be used on any other things, I'm totally fine. Like I was fine with those units from Warhammer One in Corn roster. I didn't like the animation for the Chaos Warriors because they are using the same very stiff animations from Game One, but
Yeah.
I was fine with it. And then I saw that Zinch also uses those units, and this makes me concerned. I would be fine if those units would be only for Corn roster, fine. But for Zinch, having those 7 units again,
And I feel like this is a point where we need to really bring something up. Where, yes, we are aware that each of these four factions are just different ways to do chaos. That's the problem is in lore how different they're supposed to be, and in the marketing how they were promised to be so different. This is not a case of Carl friends um, and like Balthazar Guild, where you expect everyone to have the same units because essentially they're both Empire. Corrin is so much different than like Zinch. It is crazy and how they
yeah,
functionally operate and look and just all of that, but they're not.
especially
Just
they had war between both of them, yeah, in the lore. So
mhm.
Korn was the one that stopped Zinch from taking all the rest of the Chaos Gods. If you don't know the lore,
What a good guy that Corn.
yeah, good pal Korn, your
Good
neighbor.
old wholesome Corn, very honorable dude.
He is aspect of honor, by the way.
He is, except everyone's terrible, so mostly it's bloodshed and shit.
I saw a
I
good meme about the blood that do you think why the blood god is called blood god because it sounds stupid because the blood god that he means that he have blood already, and someone commented, yeah, I'm a blood god that thinks that this amount of blood is reasonable, I don't need more. He's not that kind of god of blood.
that is something I'd love to see more explained, or excuse me, more explored. Is the lesser played up aspects of all of the gods. And what would really blow me away is if they brought back some of the Order gods and actually gave them an active role from like the old Warhammer lore.
I don't
I
think
don't
that
think
they
they
will
will.
do it. Yeah,
They
yeah.
never will. They're not as marketable as I'm evil, but
Yeah. we shall see that. But getting back to this roster problem,
Right.
I'm 99% sure right now. I like to say that I'm 99% sure of stuff, so I will say that I'm 98% right now that Nurgle and Sanesh will have those 7 units also.
I mean, pattern recognition, almost definitely. Yeah. I mean,
And
the only thing I can see them being different is in stat changes or getting active abilities, depending on which of the four gods they're affiliated with. But they're still going to function the same. You're still going to use your halberds to fight cavalry.
yeah, Indie Pride made a very good point that Chaos is looking right now like made by modders because those reskin of warriors were made ages ago in mods.
Well, we could talk a lot about the relationship between mods and the official game, but I don't know if here's the place for that.
Yeah. So if you would be looking on a game free right now, like a
Mhm.
person that don't know the lore, etc., and maybe know lore a little bit, would you buy the game looking? Would you buy a DLC with Zinch or a cafe? From what we saw right now,
I mean, if I was just coming into it and didn't know anything, that's a honestly kind of a hard question because they really hyped up our Lord Dragon Woman and the air balloons and all that. That looks fucking sick. But did you see that two-headed vulture demon and like the dude's flying around on magic disc? That was fucking sick too. So to be fair to the marketing department, that trailer is amazing.
yeah, the trailer is amazing. We were talking about it in the cafe, but uh, I'm afraid that people that don't know Warhammer so much will buy the game free, start playing, let's say, Zinch, and then change to Korn and say, like, why half of the faction is the same?
Oh, that's definitely going to happen. That is 100% going to happen unless they change direction at this point. And they gave themselves like 6 more months, so maybe I don't know.
At least 6 more months, and
Oh god, don't say it like that.
because early 2020 means that it's first half of the year. Oh my! I'm really I love chaos. Chaos is best thing that Warhammer have for me, but from what I saw, I'm really afraid of chaos part of this game to the point that if the game would be released right now, from what I saw, I would play Cafe first, not Korn, my favorite chaos god.
I would probably play Cathay just because they're hitting all the buttons for me. I never expected to be as into them as I am.
yeah,
God,
yeah, but it's not a cafe podcast episode. We made it as a separate topic, and god damn it, Luz, I don't have any hope of backing it that it will be changed. What we saw with chaos, why?
I think they are just going to double. Okay, let's say if I were making stuff, I've already over here. I've already made my. These are the mortals side of chaos. Archeon's got that handled. I'm gonna push that over here. I'm gonna steal a few of these, and then I think they're just gonna double down on doing crazy stuff with the demons. I'm expecting bloodletter infantry, bloodletter cavalry, somehow bloodletter shock troopers, like 3 variants of that, 2 variants of that, something like that. Um, that's really I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to focus really hard on the demons part of chaos, and that's where all the funding is going to go. And
Mhm.
then you'll have like tier 1, tier 2 troops will just be regular chaos stuff from like game 1. I don't like it, but I think there's at least some hope to be had with them doing something crazy with the demons because, I mean, demons, kind of a big
Demons.
deal.
Oh yeah, and this is also concerned me when you talk about Archeon. What about Chaos and Divided? If the faction won't be removed and will be in Warhammer 3, you just require a Game 1 DLC to have them. Uh,
What's the point?
what's the point
Yeah,
when 5 factions sharing so much same units and having a similar feel for those early units? Because let's say those units are early mid game, you should be rocking with the demons at the end game, I think. But damn it, I don't. there is something bad with chaos in this game that is marketing with that's marketing of chaos.
And I think what they're going to end up doing for part of the Chaos Undivided rework is make it where you can build shrines in your hordes, and that'll give you like a unit cap of this many Chaos demons or something like that. But it's still going to be mostly just like Warriors of Chaos or something. And the point of it will be, oh, if you do it this way, you can have Corn demons and Zinch spellcasters or something like that, and that'll be like, oh, that's why you play them. And I'm just, ugh, come on, guys.
No, 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 no. I hope not, but I don't have big hopes. And how can you do Cathay faction that no one asked for so good? Oh my god! And fuck up Corn so much from everything that we saw about Corn, and make Zinch so bland.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
And again, because you see pink horrors or blue horrors, I don't remember, on trailer that looks great. You have Kairos that
yeah,
looks great, and you have this ugly brother of Forsaken running next to those units. This is like, why? God damn it! Forsaken are a good unit, but it should be only in Zinch roster, not in Corn roster, and it would be fine for me.
I mean, allegedly we're getting a full Undivided rework and a Norskin rework. Maybe they will chop pieces out of Undivided or something. I don't know how I feel about that or if it'll happen. That's possible. I don't know. Maybe they'll incorporate beasts like some lower tier beastman unit into
Yeah,
Chaos
they
somewhere.
are. There's a Minotaur. There are Corn Minotaurs in Corn roster.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, but reusing one unit with the two factions is okay. Yeah, I remember that people had problems with Norscar release that Norscar used for Marauder units from 4 or 5. The Horsemaster was at that 5 units from Chaos Warriors. People had problem with it. It was my phone.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah, and I like even me personally. Back when I first got into game one, I didn't like how the answer for giant units for a lot of factions was just
Oh yeah,
giants.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Was
yeah,
not a
yeah.
fan.
We changed it a lot in SFO, so each of them have different stat and different abilities.
Hmm.
But in the base game, they are just same unit.
And it's just there's no reason for that. There never has been.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess if you wanted to go on a meta level, there might have been like a funding issue. Everyone remembers all the memes about Charlemagne's for making stuff for the Beastmen, but at this point in the development cycle, where this Total War Warhammer has puked money all over creative assemblies, they can at least put some money back into it, like make everyone feel as good as going back to Cathay. Like, damn, they're
Yeah,
so good.
we're getting back to cafe all evening today, and yeah, god damn it! And
It is
I think that for all our complaints, they would be very easy fix. You can reuse stuff from Chaos Warhammer 1, sure, but you need to distribute them between those 4 Chaos gods and not copy them in each of those gods. Have Forsaken only for Zinj, have Chaos Spawn only for Zinj because it fits. Uh,
yeah.
have those chosen models, cool, but have them only on Corn because they are bulky, they are fine. Repaint them and have them only on Corn. Make new models for Zinj chosen, etc.
Give
Don't
Zinch his
re
cultist. That's a big thing for Zinch. Make that his low tier infantry.
Yes, don't reuse stuff in that way because it really kills the purpose of having those 4 chaos different gods
Yep.
factions. Why
Oh,
have that when you just could make chaos faction and have 4 different legendary lords and make a sub faction for gods? That would be
yep.
the same result, really.
I I kind of think that the reason that it's split up the way it is so that each faction can get more legendary lord DLC, like I don't know, horsemen or something for Zinch.
Yeah, like on the paper, idea was great. I always wanted chaos factions to have 4 different factions, chaos gods factions, but from what I'm seeing, it's not living up to the expectations.
It's not living up to the promises either.
Yeah, yeah.
That's for I can deal with my own squashed expectations. That's on me. But whenever you promise me that each one is going to be crazy unique and different from each other, as like you said, empires to Vampire Coast, and then you show us this, it's like, mm, mm.
A very good example with From Vampires to Vampire Coast. Really good. They share some units,
Even the
but
zombies are different.
they're looking at way different.
Even
Way
the
different.
zombies are different. And it would have been so easy to just go like, yeah, here's a zombie that's kind of like got water dripping off of it or whatever. Nah, nah. Coast has like an entirely different like models, clothing, combat function,
Animations. They are using the
animations.
same animation from Warhammer 1 for Chaos units still. They're stiff, very bad Chaos Warriors animations. Because you can see it on the screenshots even. Those are the same animations, how they are moving.
But for all that said, I still do. It's not close enough to release to where I have no hope.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
they do seem to be listening to the community some more
Hmm.
recently. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I also have hope here that this issue will be addressed by Creative Assembly. It's not killing my love for the game. I still want
No,
to play Warhammer 3, especially as after seeing Cafe. And if the Zinch is going to get a full trailer with a unit roster, etc., and it will be good, we will say sorry on the podcast talking
make a
about
sorry
Zinch.
podcast. We'll add more
Sorry
Venrus
podcast.
lore to it.
And this is sorry podcast because we like to complain, and in most cases we are wrong. We should make
Thank
such a
God, right? Yeah.
sorry podcast and change the logo. It's SP sorry podcast.
It's I don't know. I feel like having the mindset of being grouchy about stuff always leaves lots of room to be pleasantly surprised,
Yeah,
or to
yeah.
feel validated, like I told you, youngsters, or that sort of thing.
Okay, I'm feeling old. Time you so. And to wrap up this, we really like what they show with Zinch. So Kairos, those horrors, even the disc guy, the magic, the things are looking good. But the rest, the reused stuff, need to be addressed. Because if this will be released in actual state, it will be just bad.
It'd be kind of funny in a way as well, because chaos was also a massive problem whenever game one dropped. It's like, history repeats itself.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm also very happy that many people on YouTube, like Indie Pride from Milk and Cookies, Nathan from the Greek Book of Bridges, even Italian Spartacus, many people are talking about this subject that those shared units and reskin are a very bad thing. I'm
Yeah.
very happy that people are addressing it. People were not addressing it with the core because we had hope that it won't happen with Zinch, but it just happened with Zinch.
Well, we have a Zinch trailer to look forward to, so maybe when that comes out, we can get some sort of like relief, like, oh god, they know what they're doing. Fingers crossed on that one as well.
Yeah, and that will be wrapping of our podcast. Remember to subscribe us if you like our podcast. You can also hit this bell notification button so you get notification of another new podcast, modding videos, etc. And you can also listen us on Anchor. Anchor is a platform that adds our podcast to Spotify, CopyRS, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Google Podcast, and Breaker. So if you don't want to look on our ugly faces, you can just listen to us. Yeah, and that would be all. Thanks you for listening and watching.
This has been the Loose Noose Moose Goose, and
Venris, and we need to really make some kind of good ending for those podcasts.